Cold storage warehouse, Monday. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. The inspector is doing his duties as usual. Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
Sorry to hear it. Can't be teasing you about your name now. Any progress on the investigation, policeman?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Just you and Kagami over here, then? No one else?
A video camera and laptop.
That's where it was streamed from?
This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them.
I expect nothing less from a clever criminal.
I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it.
Of course.
I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras. The same Okiuras we know.
Makes sense.
Renju's father created the company.
Wouldn't be a coincidence, surely.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died.
So Renju never inherited this warehouse then? It was looked after by a separate holdings group.
Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
It's suspicious. Maybe the killer just saw Okiura. Hey, must be related to Renju, because it's related to his father. Maybe they made the same assumption we did. A video camera and laptop used for the stream. There's an oil drum here. An oil drum. Unlikely to be a clue. Not like the previous one. Forklift A.
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
So it's just sat there? Is this warehouse even operational? Bloodstain A. Arasenota's blood. Evidence marker. An evidence marker. It's a little marker that's put up to track evidence at the scene. The ice cutting machine. Arasenota was sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Arasenota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Understood.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
Goodness.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
She didn't look like she was in too much pain. She looked like she was unconscious. Up until the moment of death, I guess. An ice cutting machine. Bloodstain B. Is this Ota's blood? Probably when he got stabbed by the knife. There's a cardboard box on the floor. There's nothing in it. A forklift. I don't see anything special about it. A wooden box on the shelf. It's empty.
There are only a few items on the shelf.
Yeah, it looks like this place was abandoned.
Is this warehouse not in use?
If the forklifts weren't being used, there's nothing particularly suspicious. A hook is hanging from the ceiling crane. Shelves with boxes. Shelves packed with cardboard boxes. I don't see any clues here. The workbench.
Right here. Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
We just missed saving him.
And the cause of death.
The machine.
Right, about that.
Or was it the stab in the side?
Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
It was on the side. It would be non-fatal, right? Blood loss would have to be his cause of death.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal.
Oh, really?
Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death.
Still, he didn't deserve a grand finale like having a freaking ice cutting machine cutting him in half, you know? When he's already, like, fading out.
If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Still, the killer had time to pop him into that polar bear costume. Is there anything else? Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to a scuffle, and Ota ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, then finally cut open by the ice cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
That is curious. What, he wasn't expecting me to get here so soon?
Unknown.
Maybe he just thought it would be a joke? A sick joke?
Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
Will do.
All right.
I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. I let them know, then left the warehouse. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. Really? What's he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Careful, you're raising a death flag right now, and we've lost quite a few people that we already know.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Alright, finally!
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date.
Thank you.
I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little.
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
Because Boss was there?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
Off the record?
All right. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops Killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
I remember that.
I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops Killer could not have committed these crimes.
This music, man. Oh, honestly. Gets me in the mood.
Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops Killer.
Go on.
Although, it's more accurate to say, killers.
2 of them. We did see 2 of them. In Iris' Somnium.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
Right, the one that went crazy. One of them was born a murderous psychopath? Well, that goes against my nature versus nurture argument I made in the previous episode, doesn't it? Rohan Kumakura.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
Why? We know Rohan's dead now, don't we? Pewter looks grimly serious. Who's the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Okay.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust.
Right. So, sociopath then?
It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone.
He had no feelings for others.
It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means.
Endorphins through killing women.
Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
We even have to ask.
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain.
Yep.
The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic.
It's kind of like why I procrastinate a lot. I get more dopamine watching YouTube and chilling out than actually doing my work and feeling accomplished afterwards.
They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure.
Only way.
He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Why did the Cyclops case get classified?
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time.
I mean, we've described the personality of this murderous psychopath, but you didn't give me a name.
Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
Could it be Iris's father, maybe?
If I did, I would tell you.
There's that picture in our house, right, with 3 people? Sorry, it took a bit of a detour just to examine the environment, but there was nothing of note. About Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out.
Okay, well, he's got a big thumb.
The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes.
Women's eyes.
Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own.
So he decided to team up with a murderous psychopath?
Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belong to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge.
Interesting.
His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner,
And contracted him out to provide eyeballs.
the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops Killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye.
We don't have a name for the psychopath?
Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings.
I understand. I still don't know why it was classified, though.
At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Summarize for me.
The original Cyclops Killer had an accomplice,
There were 2 Cyclops Killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
I suppose you guys had no luck catching them killers then.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
1 year ago.
That means...
They never caught them then.
Pewter, tell me this.
When did you find out that Rohan was involved in the murders?
One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
He's already in prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
Yeah, seems like a playground for psychopaths.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name.
Just a number.
He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89.
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
Someone copying your methods? Well, you and Rohan?
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops Killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
I understand now.
Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars.
Still don't understand why this has been kept secret from me.
Neither of them had the opportunity.
I appreciate it, Pewter. I really do. But I've got somewhere I need to be now. Abyss headquarters. I returned to boss's office to report. But I didn't see her anywhere. Where's she gone off
Where
to
did she
now?
go?
Well, she isn't always here, correct?
I know, but kinda expected her to be here, you know?
True.
I sat down in my usual seat and decided to wait for boss. You're
you
sitting on her
doing?
desk now.
I thought it would be easier to talk like this.
Okay. Sure.
What do we have to talk about?
A summary of the investigation, perhaps?
What summary? We don't have anything new.
You know everything. You're in my mind.
That's not true.
Huh?
I was curious, so I did some research. About number 89.
Why haven't we visited him yet? I feel like we need to get there right away. AIBA is sitting on the desk. To be precise, the image of AIBA sitting on the desk is being sent to my brain. What is the relationship between number 89 and Shoko?
Unknown. I cannot determine if they have any connection.
But there may be a connection between number 89 and Hitomi. Perhaps that's where Iris's connection comes in.
Approximately 1 month ago, Hitomi Sagan witnessed Shoko in Fuchu Prison's waiting room.
She might have been looking to meet someone else.
I am unable to say for certain that the person she was there to visit was number 89.
Yeah,
After all, Fuchu Prison houses 2,000 inmates.
quite a lot.
But number 89 knew Shoko's name.
He's early on in the 2,000 strong membership that Fuchu Prison has. He did.
I know who killed Shoko Nadami.
That must mean that he knew her somehow.
Did they get news in prison?
It is possible.
Maybe he overheard a conversation. What's 89's real name?
Unknown.
You don't know?
Is it that classified?
No such person is listed in the family registry. It is possible he is a foreigner, but his nationality is unknown.
Well, I don't think the number 89 is in the family tree, you know. I think he's got an actual name.
However, I believe it is safe to say that he was born and raised in Japan.
Okay, alright. Who is number 89?
As you know, he is an assassin with multiple confirmed kills.
He's an assassin now, so he's been elevated from serial killer to assassin.
He is currently serving a sentence at Fuchu Prison. He was imprisoned 6 years ago.
That's what Pewter told us.
6 years ago, everything went down.
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police.
Only 4 though. I mean, that's kind of good, right? He didn't get like 10 or 20. What about number 89 and the new Cyclops serial killings?
Pewter claims that there were 2 culprits behind the original serial killings.
Both of which are accounted for. One in the ground, the other imprisoned.
One was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
But Rohan committed suicide last year.
That leaves 1 culprit still alive, number 89.
You didn't seek a replacement for number 89? You didn't look for number 90 or number 122?
But number 89 couldn't possibly have committed these crimes. He was in jail when each of the murders occurred.
Unless we got like a law-abiding citizen scenario.
Correct. However, I do not believe it is accurate to claim that he had nothing to do with the incident.
I know who killed Shoko Nadami.
If he knows who killed Shoko Nadami, and the murders are kind of replicating his methods to an extent. Well, it's not solely
if he was
his
telling
methods.
the truth, his involvement is possible.
Rohan's the one that took the eyes out. Let's talk to number 89.
Let's talk to number 89.
Visiting hours surely aren't over, right? It's only almost 5 p.m. I don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's full of it. But he's our last remaining loose end.
Alright. However, we need not go to him.
We're gonna teleconference him?
We can bring him to us. If we plan on syncing with him, it would be more efficient.
We're going to sync with a serial killer. What if his, like, sociopathic tendencies transfer to my brain? Or you, for that matter.
Can you arrange that?
Be like Psycho Mantis, diving too deep into their mind, and then we're infected, so to speak.
I can.
You can? After cutting through some red tape, number 89 was to be brought to HQ. Well, that was easy. He took considerable time to arrive. A serial killer. Let's just transfer him to police headquarters, no worries. Could it be that, like, you know, that's exactly what he wanted if he wanted to escape? But for some reason, boss never showed up. That kind of worries me. I mentioned in the Discord that I really want to trust boss. I mean, I'm a big fan of Mizuki. Love Mizuki. Love AIBA. Love AIBA. And boss, she seems like a nice lady. I really want to get to know her. And I want her to trust me. I want to trust her. But, you know, there's the matter of her not sharing information about the original Cyclops killings that has me a bit apprehensive about her, you know? Boss never showed up. Number 89 transfers to police headquarters within 3 hours. This is some very thin red tape we've just sliced through. Probably could have cut it with my scissor fingers. There he is. What do you look like? The person in our dream? Date? There's the heartbeat.
Sorry to interrupt your busy day,
Yeah, don't mind us.
but I need you to tell me something. I'd appreciate your cooperation.
I love this music right now. It just gets my spine tingling and I get all excited and ready to just crack some suspects. Number 89 is sitting in front of me. Don't suppose there's anything new in this office. Or not office, this interrogation room. Can't see Peter. Do you know Shoko Nadami?
Yeah, I guess I do.
About a month ago, Shoko visited Fuchu prison. Was she there to see you?
That's right.
What did you talk about?
So she was there to see him.
Nothing special.
You're in no position to lie.
I'm not lying. She didn't come to hear me talk.
Then why did she come?
To meet me.
About what?
Meet you?
She probably just wanted to see me.
What, you're a zoo animal these days? What's your name?
Number 89.
See, this is why I have to ask Kagami what his name is. I don't know if it's going to be his real name.
Your real name?
I don't remember.
You don't remember your real name. Where are you from?
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso is a republic in West Africa. Population 17 million.
Is that so?
I don't have time for your jokes.
You're the original Cyclops Killer, aren't you?
That's right. I was one of the culprits behind the case 6 years ago.
Self-confessed?
One of the 2 Cyclops killers.
Looks like that lines up with what Pewter's told us. When did you first meet Shoko?
A long time ago. I don't remember exactly when.
What's your relationship to her?
A physical one. I'm kidding. She was just a business partner.
I was gonna say, don't know how you do your business behind bars. Does she give you a photo every now and then? Who killed Shoko Nadami?
Alright, let's get right down to it. 2 days ago, you called Investigation HQ and said, I know who killed Shoko Nadami.
That's right.
So what do you want in return? No such thing as a free lunch.
Who?
Hey, don't be so hasty.
Hasty? We got you here in record time, okay? I want this done ASAP possible.
We haven't agreed on a deal. You're gonna let me out of prison, right?
Sure. I'll just let a wandering psychopath responsible for 4 serial killings just, you know, head down to the pub.
It's done. You've got a deal.
Jeez, that was easy. We're just gonna trade one serial killer for another? Is that what we're doing, Date?
All right.
It's not like we got anything written down, so maybe we can just, you know, weasel it out of him before anything gets inked down on paper.
But to explain it properly, I need to tell you a story.
By all means. Boss isn't here. I'm sure we could buy some time.
It might take some time. Is that all right with you?
I've got nothing but time.
Then let's get started.
Alright.
The story of a lonely assassin.
Buckle up, guys. Number 89's got an audiobook for us.
Once upon a
Story
time, there was a detective, full of righteous justice.
of a lonely assassin.
Let's call him F.
F.
F found the evils of the world intolerable, F had no parents, no siblings, and grew up in an orphanage since he was born.
Man, why is this like a pro-revenge subreddit story? Like, do we need initials like F? Can't you just give him a name like Frank or something?
He suffered every kind of abuse imaginable there. It led him to despise all the evils of the world.
Mm-hmm.
One day, F was chasing a thug down at the harbor.
F. Yeah, he looks familiar.
Someone wanted for the assault and murder of women.
Okay, I get it. I'll just throw down my knife. Here. And you lower your gun. It's fine. I got nothing else on me. I'll go quietly. You know, I have a history with hospitals. I've been going to a special hospital for a while.
Mm-hmm. You sound like it.
Even if I get caught, it's all good. I'll come right back out again.
Get off on a insanity plea.
What should I do next time?
Jeez, this guy sounds like a real piece of work.
Just thinking about it gets me excited.
Whoa, that was a bit of overkill, wasn't it?
The culprit was unarmed. But F never served a day in prison.
Huh.
The case went to trial for some time, but it was determined to be self-defense, and he was declared innocent.
Interesting.
If the truth got out, it would be a huge scandal for the police.
So it looks like they aided in the jury decision there.
People at the upper level were terrified of what might happen, so they had evidence fabricated.
Protect our golden boy.
F wasn't suspended or disciplined at all. After a while, he returned to his job like nothing happened.
Gotta say, the story is just very engaging. I'm really, really invested in this. It's just been ramping up, and I'm just so excited, and I'm very happy with this game right now.
That was a turning point for him. He was ready to shed the morality that was weighing him down, holding him back.
All it takes is compromising once, right? Once you do one bad thing once, it becomes easier to do it again. It's kind of why, like, I'm one of those people that, doesn't want to take a sick day just for the hell of it. I know some people who just take sick days like a mental health day, which is fine, I understand. Sometimes your work gets stressed and you just want to take a mental day off. Or you just call in sick just so you can just take a break from work. But I just know if I do that, it becomes easier to do it next time, and even easier the time after that. So the whole point is to just not do it even once, just like drugs, right? And here we got number 89, or F in this case, compromising on his morality, shooting an unarmed person. I mean, he sounded like an actual dick. I would have been tempting to shoot him as well.
F still wanted justice, and he was willing to dispense it to the immoral one by one. He became an assassin, a lone gunman, no agent, no employer.
Down the slippery slope.
He was his own man. F believed that he was judge, jury, and executioner. But it didn't last long. One day, F got rid of a criminal we'll call X.
Now we're going to X.
X was responsible for defrauding and killing an innocent old man for his life insurance policy. Turns out, X had connections. Someone wasn't happy that he died. Rohan Kumakura, chairman of the Kumakuras.
Wasn't happy that X died.
X was a top executive of the Kumakuras at the time. Rohan ordered his men to find and kidnap F.
Jeez.
I've done some research.
There's the Yakuza people that we've seen.
I know you've cleaned up at least 18 pieces of scum from this earth. But somehow there hasn't been a single criminal investigation. They're all treated as suicides, accidents, or natural causes.
He's that good.
Amazing work. I'm impressed. How about you work for us? Of course, you have the right to say no.
Work for the very scum he wants to kill.
But it'll be the last word out of your mouth.
F was trapped. Even if he somehow survived, he would be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his life. He had no choice but to take Rohan's offer.
Really? You couldn't go out with dignity?
Thus, F's self-employment came to an end. He became a hired gun of the Kumakuras. Rohan even gave him a code name, Falco.
Falco. I guess that's where F came from.
Named for the falcon, a bird of prey. Falco didn't quit his job as a police officer, though.
Great. He was their man on the inside.
He worked as a detective by day, assassin by night, at the will of the organization. An ordinary killer would need motive to take a life, but not Falco. He did as he was told, one target after another. It didn't take long to destroy his heart completely.
Shit.
Time passed, and a few years back, Falco, who by this time was exhausted in body and spirit, made a fatal mistake. He missed his mark and ended up taking a bullet to the stomach.
Ah.
Somehow he managed to escape. After reaching a nearby shrine, his legs finally gave out under him. He had no strength left. He put his back up against the shrine and let out a moaning breath that he thought might be his last. But at that moment...
What happened?
In his darkening vision, he saw a woman approach him.
Hitomi.
He watched her take out her phone and dial for help. At the same time, he heard footsteps. Footsteps of at least 2 people closing in. He knew immediately that they were after him.
He had to protect this lady.
He sprung into action, grabbing the woman and pulling her close, kissing her to keep her from talking.
That's one way to do it.
That was the first encounter between Falco and the woman. She was a teacher at some school.
Yep, that was Hitomi.
It was like she was from a totally different world than him. Listening to her talk, he would forget everything about his line of work. She was his only contact with the ordinary, mundane world.
Love was curing him.
They met in secret a few more times, and Falco felt his heart grow warmer. Her smile and kindness were like a cold glass of water for Falco's parched heart.
Damn, this is like a noir movie, ain't it?
Falco started to become himself again. His former self. He swore on his life that from then on, he would live for her.
So, you want to go clean? Fine. Do as you please. You've done a lot for us.
Oh, really? So, just like that, he can tender his resignation with the Yakuza.
But there is one last thing.
One last job, Mr. Wick.
One final job I want you to do for me.
The impossible task.
It's nothing major. This woman and her daughter. I need you to dispose of them.
Don't tell me it's Hitomi and Iris.
Should be simple, no?
Rohan handed Falco a picture of a woman and a girl. It was the teacher Falco met at the shrine. And her daughter. She had just turned 12.
Iris. 18. 6 years ago. 89's been updated. We've got a picture for him now.
Why the 2 of them? Rohan, as usual, never gave a reason.
He must have known.
And Falco had no intention of carrying out the kill. But if he didn't, he knew that someone else would. He thought long and hard. How was he going to keep them safe and get out of the life of crime?
Does seem like an impossible task now that I mention it.
He couldn't find an answer, no matter how hard he thought. He was backed into a corner. So, he decided to call on an old friend for help. And then...
An old friend? Who was your old friend? Silence. For some reason, he wouldn't open his mouth again. That dream. Could it have been, like, a way to fake Hitomi's death? To satisfy the Kumakuras? He's not talking. Why did you stop?
Why did you stop?
You mentioned a detective.
You mentioned a detective.
I mean, obviously we didn't see the imagery that we did as the audience, or Date didn't see that. Was that the whole story?
Was that the whole story?
What was the connection between that and Shoko?
What's the connection between that and Shoko?
He's not talking. Answer me!
Hey, answer me.
This is a transaction, remember?
Did you call me 6 years ago?
Until I get a guarantee that you'll uphold your end of the bargain, I'm not telling you anything else.
Remember playing with a kid Iris, right?
I'll give you half up front, half later.
He's got some information.
If you want to hear the rest of my story, you better start the release procedures. Once they've cleared, I'll tell you everything.
I'm gonna need boss on this to make a call. I mean, like, I'd love to just release him just so I can hear the rest of the story, but we gotta think, you know. He's a killer. He's an assassin for the Yakuza. He's a former serial killer.
Date, it is unlikely that number 89 will uphold his promise, even upon release.
That's also the risk as well we're going to be taking. He just could up and disappear.
Pewter,
Yes?
start the preparations.
For what?
His release.
What do you think? The sync.
Oh, that. You were thinking his release, Peter? What do you think of me? I follow the law, thank you very much. What's the rhyme going to be on this one? Sink in with the insane.
Injected number 89 with the usual dosage. He will not be waking up anytime soon. Are you ready, Agent Date?
Yeah,
The time limit is 6 minutes.
I know.
He's not going to give me the information I need.
Let's begin.
Then we're going to have to pry it out of him. I'll give him a deal. In his dreams. Here we go. One more sync.